What's up everybody, it's Sean here and I am back today to give you a review of the Nike Book 1 in this Mirage colorway. Today's video is brought to you by Capsule. Capsule is a brand new product on the market that helps preserve your sneakers and extends their life up to 2 times. So I'm sure you guys have pairs in your collection that you wear sparingly, maybe those more expensive high heat sneakers that you wear twice or 3 times a year. And those shoes that you just leave in the box in your closet, those ones are usually the ones that have the highest risk of deteriorating and suffering from yellowing and crumbling. So that's where Capsule comes into play. Their product targets the 2 main reasons why your sneakers crumble, age, and yellow, which is oxidization and hydrolysis. So with Capsule, it's a pretty easy process. They sell an airtight pod that you put your shoes into, and that blocks any harmful UV rays from impacting your shoes. And then this is where their special or secret sauce comes into play. So they have a scientifically backed recipe and it comes in the form of a cartridge. And once you inject or push in this cartridge into that airtight pod, it not only pushes out the harmful or dirty air that's inside the bag, but it also pushes in that special formula, which is really the key to prolonging the life of your sneakers. So I know a lot of you might be a bit skeptical, so check out their website, which I've linked down below in the description box. Do your own research, make sure you're comfortable with it, try it out for yourself, and let me know what you guys think. So this right here is the debut signature sneaker for NBA star Devin Booker. After the initial release of that super limited orange colorway, this Mirage colorway can be considered the actual debut colorway for the silhouette. So these released on February 17th for $140 US or $180 here in Canada. And while the nickname of this shoe is Mirage, the official colorway for this shoe is light Orewood brown, sesame, baroque brown, and sail. And I want to point out that this review is strictly coming from a lifestyle or casual use perspective, so if you're looking for an actual on-court basketball performance review, I'm sure there's tons of channels on YouTube that have you covered. So with the design of this Book 1, obviously this design has much more of a retro flavor as opposed to most signature basketball sneakers these days, which is heavily tech-based and has much more of a performance-oriented or futuristic vibe to it. So the design of this model was inspired by past iconic Nike silhouettes like the Air Jordan 1, the Air Force 1, and the Nike Blazer. So first things first, here's a quick look at the packaging. So this comes in a sail colored cardboard box. We have this large Nike branding in brown on the very top. On the side of the box, we have Devin Booker's signature. And then on the other side of the box, we have the words Book and Chapter 1. And if you hold the box this way, it really looks like the spine of an actual book, which is a play off Booker's last name. So diving into the details of this shoe, as we start things off with the toe box, this area here, this is covered in a very soft leather, and it feels like nubuck or like a flat suede to the touch. In the center of the toe box, we have these 2 rows of perforations, and right above this, we have this small Nike swoosh embroidered in the center. Surrounding the front toe cap, we have another layer of this nubuck or suede, and you can see how tapered this toe box is. It's not overly chunky and bulky, which I thought was really nice. The same nubuck covers the eyelets of the sneaker, and then the very top eyelet, this is covered in this circular metallic finish. Underneath this on the mid panel, instead of leather or nubuck, this area here is covered in a woven textile which almost feels like canvas to the touch. And then stitched on top of this, we have this large Nike swoosh, which is constructed out of a tumbled leather with this thick embroidery on the edges. Surrounding the top portion of the ankle collar area, this is covered in this tan colored suede, and this area here is covered in perforations. On the bottom of the heel, we have another layer of that smooth nubuck, and within this, not visible to the eye, we have an internal heel counter, which gives you a lot of support around the back end of the sneaker. And then running down the center of the heel, we have this brown synthetic leather pull tab with Chapter 1 branding. And if you look at the pull tab from the side, we have these 3 woven layers, which are inspired by the pages within a book. And then on the back side of this pull tab, we have the number 96 representing Devin Booker's birth year. As far as laces go, so this pair only comes with 1 lace option, and they're a flat style lace done in this tonal color. Underneath this, the tongue is covered in this mesh liner, and the tongue itself is actually pretty well padded, a lot more padded than I expected it would be. At the very top of the tongue, we have this woven tag with book branding and the Nike logo in orange. And then on the back of the tongue, we have one of Devin Booker's tattoo, which is his family crest with the initials of his parents and siblings. So the back of the tongue and the interior of the shoe, this is covered in a silky smooth tan colored lining, and this inner collar was extremely well padded. And then as far as the insoles go, so these come with a pretty well padded foam lined insole, it's covered in this orange finish on top. On the right foot, we have this hand-drawn Nike logo, and then on the left foot, we have this barcode with unique and meaningful numbers. So we have Devin Booker's jersey number, which is number 1, followed by the area code of his home city, Grand Rapids, Michigan, 616. We have the area code for his high school, Moss Point High, and then 602, the area code for the city of Phoenix. So the upper of the Book 1, it sits atop this full-length Cushlon foam midsole. So this midsole is painted in the sail color, and not visible to the eye in the middle of this midsole, we do have a rectangular shank plate, which is there from a performance standpoint to help with torsional rigidity and midfoot support. And this Cushlon foam is actually contained within a TPU sidewall, which is actually hidden pretty well to the naked eye. So if you look at the back of the shoe, you'll see how there's this line that runs down, and this is where the split is between the Cushlon on the medial side and the TPU on the lateral side. So that helps give you a little bit more stiffness and support for those that overpronate, whereas the medial side of the shoe feels a little bit softer because you don't have that TPU layer containing the foam. And before I forget, there's also a top-loaded Zoom Air unit which sits on the top of the foam midsole right underneath your heel. Turning the shoe over to the bottom, so I know there's 2 versions of this shoe that released, a translucent outsole version as well as a solid rubber outsole version, which I believe was sold internationally. So being that I picked these up locally here in Canada, the outsole here is done in this translucent rubber in this milky white finish. And you can see from heel to toe, we have this herringbone style traction pattern, and we have Air Zoom branding visible on the heel. So that breaks down the look and the construction of these Book 1s. And for those wondering about sizing, that's probably the $1 million question. And I have to say this shoe fits very snug. So getting these originally in my true size, which was a size 10, even with regular non-basketball performance socks, my toes were literally right at the edge of the shoe. And it felt very cramped and uncomfortable because you can see, like I mentioned earlier, how much this toe box tapered and how shallow it is. So there was no way that I was comfortably fitting true to size in these. So because of that, I traded these up, got them a half size up in a size 10.5. So wearing these in a size 10.5, again with regular socks, they still feel pretty snug, but it's not unbearably snug. And I'm gonna bank that eventually they're gonna break in and feel a little bit more soft and a bit more roomy in the toe box. So strictly from a casual use perspective, I would highly recommend everyone to go up half a size at least. Even if you have a narrow foot, the length of the shoe just feels a little bit too short, and the shallowness of the toe box makes it feel very uncomfortable going true to size. To give you guys a point of comparison, I also go up half a size in most Nike Cobras as well, such as the Nike Protro 4, 5, 6, and 8. And more recently, I wore a size 10.5 also in the LeBron 20s, whereas I wear a size 10 in other performance basketball sneakers like the Nike Luka 1. And if I had to compare the fit of this shoe to another performance basketball sneaker, I'd say it kind of feels similar to the Nike KD 14 and 15. Those are shoes I also prefer to go up half a size as well. Moving on to the comfort, so this shoe actually feels pretty comfortable for casual use. This Cushlon foam that they utilize feels extremely plush, and with the addition of the Zoom Air underneath the heel, that gives you an added level of bounciness surrounding the back end of the sneaker. So for casual use, they feel great. It feels extremely well cushioned, but one thing I noticed, it's not really an uncomfortable thing, but the TPU sidewall on the midsole, it is noticeable. So if I'm rolling my feet outwards when I walk, I can feel a lot more of that support, whereas when I'm rolling my feet inwards, it has much more of a softer feel in comparison. But I think the key thing here with the comfort is getting the sizing right. If you get a pair that's way too tight on you, it's gonna be super uncomfortable. So in a perfect world, hopefully you guys can try these on in a store in person before committing on a size and buying them. Finally, in terms of the quality and the craftsmanship on this pair, so first off, the material quality, I thought it was great. Everything on the shoe had a very high quality feel to it, from the nubucks, the suede collar, and the leather swoosh. All of this felt like good, genuine materials. The only thing that was lacking was this pull tab, which was a synthetic leather, but that was very, very minor. For a signature performance basketball sneaker, I'm typically used to synthetic materials like meshes and fuse overlays. So to get a shoe that actually utilizes genuine materials, it was a refreshing change, and that's another reason why the shoe works so well casually or off the court. And in terms of the build and the craftsmanship, my pair was honestly pretty flawless. The stitch job was great, and there weren't any noticeable glue stains that I could see. So I have to admit, even though I'm not a huge fan of Devin Booker on the court, after not being initially thrilled or wowed by the design of this shoe when I first saw the leaked images, now that I have them in person, as a cliche as it sounds, I'm a fan of this model now. So with all of that out of the way now, let me toss these on feet, I'll lace them up for you, and I'll show you guys how these look. I know nowadays wearing performance basketball shoes off the court isn't as common as it used to be, but I think this Book 1 really changes that. This to me is the most casual friendly performance basketball shoe from Nike that they've released in a long time. And if timeless is what Devin Booker was going for with the design of this shoe, I think they really nailed this one, as it looks good on the court, but it looks even better off the court. And it goes without saying, this colorway is super clean. It's your basic sail and cream colored sneaker, which is extremely popular these days. And if you couldn't tell, I'm really happy with this shoe, and I'm excited to wear these once the weather gets a little bit better and I'm not stepping on muddy or wet ground outside. So drop a comment down below. Let me know, what do you guys think about this Nike Book 1 in this Mirage colorway? What are your overall thoughts of the silhouette, both casually and on the court? And for anyone that's actually tried on a pair of these, let me know your thoughts about the sizing and the comfort. I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say. And as usual, if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. You can follow me on Instagram at esco8, check me out on X at sean.go spelt out, and visit my website at seango.ca. So thanks so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this review, and I'll catch you guys all in the next one.